Welcome back, everybody, to Comic Shop Talk on the Late Night Chat Network, your first stop for pop culture talk. I'm your host, Nico, and joining with me today, as always, my co-host, Chris. How's it going?
Hey, not too bad. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Just showing off the old Stanley Cup I won here in our hockey pool, Chris. That's coming up soon, so I figured I might as
Good.
well bust it out for the show. I got to start
That's the
having
first
it.
time I think I've seen it. Looks good.
I actually just got it recently. I waited half the year to get it, but hey, listen, the playoffs are coming soon, so I gotta start showing it off a little bit. It's gonna probably be in the background for the next little while because there's no guarantee I'm gonna hold on to it this year, everybody. Yeah, so there you go.
Looking to take it home.
But yeah, in other news, the comic shop talk somehow just got hit with tariffs. I don't really know how that works, guys. It's a thing. I don't know, or at least comics are possibly going to get hit with them. So we'll see how that pans out. But yeah, moving on. Chris is shaking his head. Yeah, shout out to all of our Canadian viewers and the Americans. Sure, why not? But yeah, welcome back, everybody. This is our weekly comic book review show here. Make sure to like and subscribe, and thank you for tuning in. And this is where we talk about the comics that we read week to week. And today we're going to be talking about the comics that we read for the week of January 29th, 2025, the new comic book releases that came out that week that we read that we wanted to talk about here. Also, if you guys missed it, we've started putting out our own videos for the comic book solicitations now, like the new comic book solicits that we usually used to review on this show. So if you missed it, we actually put out another video last week where we reviewed new. You're right.
Excuse me.
Oh, take a swig there, Chris. Make sure that's a Canadian beer that you're drinking.
Went down the wrong pipe there.
But yes, I did want to mention that we did put out another video of those comic book solicitations, and we talked about the new comics that came out for the week of April. For the month of April 2025. So that's where we kind of take a look at the previews and show you new things that are going to be coming out a couple months down the line, because we got to pre-order books if you are a comic book reader ahead of time. So this kind of gives us a chance to talk about new things that are coming out, things we're looking forward to, show off some of the covers and all this kind of stuff. So make sure to check that out. That'll be in the playlist for Comic Shop Talk or in the feed here on the Late Night Chat Network. And that's the new comic book solicitations video. Those will be coming out once a month on top of our weekly episodes. So you got those to look forward to as well. And spoiler warning, guys, we are going to be talking about what happens in the books here today, showing off some of the art. So if you're worried about getting spoiled, just read your books and then come back. All right, Chris.
All right. Let's talk comics.
Talk some comics. Cheers.
Cheers.
I don't know about this one.
Coors Light.
This one's made in Canada. If they have their own
Yeah. I think most of Canadians were run by Americans anyways.
That's what I had in the fridge, man. What do you want? Yeah, Molson Coors Canada. See, Chris, get out of here.
Right? There you go. Cheers.
Should be showing these brands on here anyways. They're not sponsoring. Yeah, you're smart. You got yours in the sleeve. So there you go. All right. First up, we got seasons number 1 here this week, which is the new another new Rick Remender Image ongoing series here with art by Paul Azaceta here this week that came out. Chris, what'd you think of this?
Well, I saw this comic in the previews in one of my feeds there, and it had kind of everything before the credits, I guess, and it seemed pretty interesting. Like, this town that's just sort of gone radio silent. And then I'm like, oh, I'll read this. Rick Remender, he hasn't done he's never steered me wrong. And then the story comes up, and I know what this is. The whole time this girl's chasing a letter. The last few pages, okay, a bit of a mystery evolves, but I don't know. Well, we'll have to see how this one goes.
So I'm with you. I wasn't really too sure what this was going to be. I kind of just usually buy any of his series outright from Image that he does his creator-owned stuff, Rick Remender. And I usually at least give the first few issues a try because, he's a name that I really trust. And I really like him as a writer, and majority of the things he puts out I really enjoy. So I just bought into this, and I didn't really know too much about it. Paul Azaceta is a good artist. I think one of the last things I think I seen him work on is he did that comic Outcast with Robert Kirkman like a few years ago. That was like, it had a show on TV as well, but it wasn't that successful. I think they only had a season or two of it. It was like I don't know, it was like the demonic possession type comic. Like people in this town would get possessed by something. Anyways, I really like his art. I wasn't sure how it was going to translate to a story like this, because the other stuff I feel like I've seen him do has been very dark. Again, I'm with you. I didn't really know what to expect of this, and not too much happened in this issue. It mainly focused on the fact that this girl is a part of the seasons, or all these girls that are related to each other that have that last name. And this issue in particular, like you said, it started up a little bit of a mystery in the town with some weird circus activity that's going on. And majority of the issue was her just chasing this letter down. And when she finally got to read the letter, it was from one of her other sisters warning her to watch out for, I guess, somebody that or something that's going to happen to the town. And that's basically the first issue. But I got to say, like, the storytelling of it, like the art throughout, like just following the envelope flying through the air, like you need to be a really good artist in order to convey. This is like old school, like, you know, like animation type stuff, right? Like you might see in like a Disney cartoon or something like that was going on here. So I thought it was really well done, and it kept my interest. But not much happened in this first issue, though. I will say that. Yeah, I agree with you there. But I'm in it for at least the first arc. I'm interested to see where this goes. The little bit of the mystery hook. If this was just her chasing an envelope and we didn't even get anything else, then I don't know how I would feel about it. But by the end of it, I did want to see what happens next. So I don't know. Did you like the art?
Yeah, I like the art. It was a good job. The flow of the story was good. I read that. I think at the end of the comic, he has a little blurb there,
Yes.
kind of explaining what he's done. I read that, so it did make sense why he's doing this. Kind of show off the town a little bit, and kind of, I guess, do some city building or world building, and it's in a different type of way. So I can understand it, but I was a long time chasing that letter.
Yeah, no, it was.
I'd like to say, like this splash page here, it's all, it's bright, vibrant colors, nothing wrong with that. But at the end of it, I felt the run was a little too long.
I mean, this was a double-sized issue, and that was basically the majority of this issue, and it kind of went by pretty quick as a result. But yeah, he compared it to like things like Tintin, Winsor McKay, which is like Lil Nemo and Slumberland,
Yeah.
and Miyazaki films, which I'm a fan of. All those things, so I get like maybe the tone that he's kind of going for based off of those things here, right? So this just sounds like it's going to be like an adventure comic of sorts, probably, just with these sisters and a strange occurrence in this town, right? So I like, you know what I like though? I like that Remender is lately, he's starting to try to do other like other types of stories. It seems like his voice is coming out differently in other types of stories that he's telling lately. Like for a while there, a lot of his stories, it seemed like were similar in tone, or like the voice of the writer itself that was coming out in the story, or the stories that he was choosing to tell, or the themes in them. This is definitely something different. I don't feel like I've seen from Rick Remender. So I am appreciating it on that level. Whether or not, it's going to be a home run a few issues into this this story here, we'll see. But I'm in it for at least the first arc, I think. So, yeah. What'd you
We'll
get?
see how it goes. I'll give it a 3.5.
I'll go 3.75 on this one. All right. Next up, we got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #6.
Oof. Now this was the art in this comic, not just the art, the panel layouts, everything. That was some sick stuff going on in there. That was crazy.
So
Like,
this is the new art. This is the new ongoing artist now, because you know how there was a different artist for the first 5 issues. This is the new ongoing artist on this series, Juan Ferreira, who I'm a big fan of. This guy's great. So yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, I hope the only reason they didn't get him because he wasn't available for the first 5 issues, because those guys just wasted their time. And this guy got on it, like, wow, this is, I don't know what he's doing in here, but it's freaking great. Like that Donatello, he still looks crazier than ever, and he's not built and jacked. He's still sort of all lean and lanky, and just some of the panels there where I think the two of the turtles are fighting. One guy gets cracked in the face. Can't go wrong with that. These they just look like good turtles here. Like it's they look real. You know what I mean? I don't want to say they're real, but there's nothing cartoony about these guys here, and there's nothing cartoony about the action. I thought it was a great comic, and the story. I'm still getting a little tired of this. These guys haven't put it together yet, but hopefully it's coming. But and the stuff with Splinter though, him carrying around that dead rat, but supposedly there's a Splinter voice coming from somewhere because whatever he's narrating or Donatello thinks he's saying, some of those things are helping to guide them. So that's interesting too.
Yeah, they all hear it at the end of this comic, essentially, that voice in their head, despite them revealing the fact that, like, hey, knock it off with that rat, it's dead. And then they all kind of have all of a sudden like Splinter in their
Yeah.
head, it seems like, at the end of this. I agree with you, man. This was a fantastic comic, honestly. He really made a statement coming on his first issue as the artist on this book. I hope he stays for a long time on this run. And yeah, that's how I would describe Juan Ferrera's art too. It's like a little bit more of a realism to it. It does look like it's not very cartoony. He's got like I think he might color this himself because it looks like he paints it or something. I don't know, like it just says art. So yeah, he definitely these are his
Oh, he
colors
does
on
both.
this.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So, but I think like the coloring of his art is very important for the way it looks, the way it stands
Yeah.
out. It has that real feel because I don't know if this is like digitally done the colors or if he's just putting or he's actually painting his art here because that's the kind of the quality it looks like. Like it looks like really good. And like it looks like he's like painting it, like the colors are so vibrant. I don't know. And the layouts, like you said, I'm loving the infighting. I'm loving the fact that all these brothers are, even though now they're all together, they're exchanging shots in this. They're getting they're fighting ninjas all over the city in disguise. The Hand's
Yeah.
taking over New York. They go in the sewer. They get chased out of there. They go to ground. They're fighting off firefighters that are disguised ninjas. The Hand that's disguised as the foot that's disguised as firefighters. And it looks like they're fighting public service workers and
Yeah.
stuff
It
like
just
that.
doesn't look. It's not a good look for them.
No, so it's just, and like you said, there's the layouts of the pages, like there's him scaling the wall here, the close-ups
Yeah.
of the punches. There's a lot of great choices that the artist made in that regard too. Yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, I've seen this guy's art on other things before, but this might be the best he's ever looked in this issue, or it's just like a great fit for the Turtles. I'm loving this series. I think this is I have high hopes this year for this series if he continues to be the artist on this. I love the first arc, but yeah, this just hit it into an even higher gear for me with this issue. Yeah, it's great stuff. Oh yeah, and then Casey, he's laid up in the hospital from the mayor there, the corrupt mayor guy who shows up at the end of this issue again. He's kind of like the kingpin in this, essentially, right? Like that's
Yeah.
what I got out of this. So great stuff. I totally agree with you. And then
Yeah. Nicole's there too. You haven't seen her in this yet.
the rat thing's just messed up. It's so demented. He's carrying around the dead rat.
Yeah. There's that punch. I love that punch there where he freaking cracks him in the face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm loving this series. I not much else I can say about it. Honestly, I can't wait till the next issue. It's just good stuff. What'd you give this, Chris?
Yeah, I give this 4.25. Easy.
I almost want to give it a 5. I'll go 4.5, maybe even 4.75. I'll try not to give it a 5, but it's there. That's how fucking good this issue was for me. I love this issue. All right, next up we got Babs number 5, Chris.
Yeah, this is a bit of a surprise there for me. I didn't really have this on my radar, but I'm always happy when it comes out. And the writing in this one, it's always good for one line in here. I forget. I think that Knight has a line where he says his bladder had slip it or something. But either way, the story there, they're all in the mine, and I guess they want to try and get the keys off the guard. And Babs and her friend, they're gonna use their feminine charms to maybe get those keys. and that knight's like, "Oh, ladies, choose a new plan. You can't do this. I wish I could do this for you," and stuff like that. And then they realize that maybe that guard there doesn't have a taste for the ladies. I guess that knight didn't really want to do it, but it looks like he stepped up because he ended up getting the keys. So, and just hearing him moan and groan and complain about it for the rest of the comic, I enjoyed that. And just other lines there where I think Babs was, when they're trying to escape, Babs is like, "Okay, should I just slit their throats while they're all asleep?" And then her friend is, "Oh, don't you think that's a little harsh?" And she goes, "Okay, okay." They try and escape, and then they all wake up and they have to end up freaking whatever demoing the tunnel on them, and they all get crushed in there. And Babs is like, "Well, this is any better?" And she's like,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, you're
Yeah,
right."
that was a good line. Yeah, she's like, "Yeah, I'm glad that we thought this through and we risk our lives just for this to happen."
Yeah.
It's much
And
more.
then the story with those orcs or whatever, the others or the undesirables in the town. I guess they're getting the picture that all the riches that they were promised aren't coming their way.
Mhm.
So this is. But I think one thing that was a drawback for me, the voice might have been a little heavy-handed there about getting rid of the undesirables and all that sort of stuff.
Yes.
It's. I guess he wants to venture in some of the political tones,
Yes, it was a bit
but he
preachy.
didn't. I thought he laid it on thick, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, like I wouldn't say like, yeah, no, I guess it was a bit preachy to his point about, like you said, it is very clear some of the things that he's talking about in today's society through these characters, let's say, in these situations, political or otherwise. That being said, it is still well done. Like he does, yeah, but maybe he doesn't lay it on as thick. Like this, it's sometimes he can lay it on a little bit thick. I agree with you. Yeah. The cartooning's really great. Still, the art I really like from Jason Burrows. And the fun thing about this issue was, I don't know if you read the letter columns at the back, but they confirmed that this is only season 1, and there's going to be more Babs after this.
Oh, nice.
After the 6th issue, I think they're going to take a break.
Yeah, take a break. Yeah, that's perfect. I love that.
Yeah, so I'm actually happy about that because I quite like this series. I actually think Garth Ennis is doing a really good job, and I've yet to see him do like a fantasy-esque, like Conan type of story. So this is actually pretty fun, like with this character, and it still has the Garth Ennis dark humor to it.
Yeah,
So and the violence. So like it's not like he's shying away from that. It's just he's doing a different type of genre he doesn't really work in usually, right? So I really like that. So it's good stuff. What would you give this, Chris?
yeah. Give it a 4, no problem, easy.
I'll go 3.75 on this one. I still really enjoy this series, though. Yeah, I'm good. I think I pre-ordered the trade of this already, actually, because I read this digitally. I pre-ordered the trade of this one for the shelf. So yeah. All right, Chris. Green Lantern 19.
Okay, so I think now this Green Lantern, the storyline has been sort of laid out there. So there's a fractured spectrum. There's some, not a lantern, but there's some guy, the Sorrel, and his plan is that he's trying to build another power battery. So he's got to look for the blueprints or all the items to make this battery. And if he makes the battery, then that could be the end of the universe. And then for the side missions in the fractured spectrum, there's sort of I guess people that are getting some of the other lantern colors powers. It kind of reminds me of the X-Force sort of plan, where they just got to go around and do certain things every issue. But for whatever reason, I find that it works in this one. One thing that did stick out to me in the beginning there, where they had where they have the Justice League, is that Justice League is living on Dan Mora's art. Not that this art is bad, but that Justice League is just living off Dan Mora's art right now. That Justice League Unlimited. Just seeing this Justice League here, I think it wouldn't be doing half as well. But it's working for this story, and and that's what I think. That's sort of the blueprint, at least the way I see it, of how this is going out. So they're going to be kind of following, I guess, Green Lantern. I think Connor Kent's along with them for the mission. They have some good sort of repartee between them,
Mhm.
and yeah, I thought it was good stuff.
Nice.
Oh yeah, I thought you read it too. My bad.
No, no, no. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd give it a 3.75. Good stuff.
All right, cool. Yeah, excuse me, guys, if my voice is starting to sound hoarse too. I might be coming down with a cold. I don't know. It's that time of year. It's definitely feeling scratchy. All right, so here we go. Now I got to talk about a couple books. Let's see if I can get through this. Superman Lex Luthor special number 1. I'm surprised you didn't read this, Chris, because this was kind of like an extension of the main Superman series in a way. Like,
Is this Lex in the City?
no, no.
Oh, I didn't think I saw this one out there. Then I thought you were talking about Lex in the City. I'm not reading that. What kind of
Yeah, no, that was like the Sex of the City spinoff.
yeah. I go, what's gonna happen in here?
No, this is like they did with the Superwoman special, which I don't think you ended up reading that one either,
Yeah,
but they're doing like a bunch of one shots of certain characters in Joshua Williamson's run. Like he did it with the Superwoman one shot, and then he's kind of doing it with this Lex Luthor one shot, this special one shot. So if you're reading the ongoing Superman series, I would suggest, if you guys did miss this, to go check
yeah.
it out. Eddie Burrows on art, who's really good too. So I enjoyed this. This was kind of like, while this story is going on with the Doomsday thing, they kind of did like a nice little one shot outside of that to let you know a bit about Lex, like where he's at right now with this whole amnesia thing. And then they told like a story about him in his past when he was a child back in Kansas. And I will say the dumb thing though that they did in this story, which I know, Chris, you're usually not a fan of, is they tried to link something that happened back in the day to the fact that it somehow affected Superman in Kansas back when they were both kids. So yeah, I know you're not a fan of that kind of revisionist type, like history type stuff where they go and try to find ways to like link these characters before they even knew one another. So, but in this one, they kind of was said about how Lex was so smart even as a kid that and his parents mistreated him and they didn't understand him, like why, how he's so smart, and it scared him. It scared like his dad and treated him like shit as a result, almost like in the same way that Superman would have maybe been treated if he was raised by horrible parents, because he is different, he is an alien, and maybe it explains why that Lex Luthor may treat Superman the way he does. But he created some sort of like musical like instrument of some sort that like he can play a key on, like a piano, and it's supposed to hit a frequency in space that only certain people could hear, essentially, like
You got
beings.
the brown note.
Yeah. From South Park. Yeah, it's something like that. But basically, they're trying to say that it was a sound that Superman could hear all these years ago, and that he didn't make the connection or something, that it was Lex. And meanwhile, they're trying to tell you where he's at now, how he's trying to be, a better person because he can't really remember his old self. And by the end of this, though, it seems that he may have gotten his memory back, or that's what Superman fears at the end of this issue. So now they're saying it's going to link back into the main ongoing Superman series. So there might be some development in there where he does have his amnesia gone and he may remember his past. He may even come back as a bad guy now, is what they're kind of hinting at. So I don't know,
Yeah.
at least the way it ended. So I guess we'll see how that all pans out. But, as a one shot, it wasn't bad. And it is by Williamson. So I think these one shots that he's been doing outside of the main series, he took the opportunity to kind of tell more stories about this, what's going on with the characters in this story, because he's focusing on the Doomsday stuff right now. So I think he kind of wants to use it as a way not to have that main focus take away from the action of that story that's going on right now. Right. So I think he's accomplished that with these kind of two one shots he's done so far, between the Superwoman one to explain how she got the powers, between Lex, seeing where he's at right now. I think it's been good because it hasn't taken away from that great story that they've been telling that we've been both enjoying in the pages of Superman. Right. So yeah, maybe not essential reading, but if you like what Williamson's been doing, I think it's worth checking out. And also, like, there's some good art on this issue, so it's definitely worth checking out for that. Though I'll give it a 3.5 out of 5 this week, though.
What's that? Summer Superman coming.
Yeah, exactly. And then next up, I got West Coast Avengers number 3. Here's the thing about this series. I really like Duggan. He definitely has some interesting things going on here. it's just not coming together for me. So I think I've dropped it. I think this or the next issue might be my last issue I'm picking up. I might try to continue reading it digitally. I was just so hot on stuff he's been working on after X-Men and Iron Man. So I was like, okay, Iron Man's in this book. This is going to be a home run. And there's some interesting things that are going on in this book, but two things I don't like about it that's not making it come together for me. One, the artist Danny Kim, not a fan of his art. I think they need a way strong. I know this is a West Coast Avengers book, but give the guy a better artist than this dude, right? And like, I'm just not digging on the art for whatever reason. It just doesn't fit this book. The other thing that's not really working for me is that there's too many ideas and things going on, and he really hasn't established the team as a team so far. 3 issues in, like they really haven't, like they've been working together, but the relationship between everybody does not feel like, it's like the Avengers, let's say, right? This seems like this is definitely him saying like this is definitely like a C-list Avengers team, as the West Coast Avengers it always has been in that sense. But if you put some heavy hitters on this team, some interesting characters, you can make this book sing. Like this could be actually a really good Avengers book with Duggan on the writing duties and a really good artist. Something that like we're seeing with X Factor right now, where we're not really liking a lot of the X-Men books, but you put that like book that's kind of outside of the main event stuff that's going on, and that might be the most interesting book out of the bunch all of a sudden. You know what I mean? Like this book has potential for that, but it's just not getting there. And I just think, like there's an interesting Ultron storyline going on in this where, how they weren't sure if the Ultron on their team was evil or not. And this one, you see some past occurrence with him meeting with a bunch of the other Ultrons. Like there's all these other Ultron bots. Like he separated, I guess, his consciousness into a bunch of them. And they all have a meeting and they're like, you know what? Let's try some different stuff. Why don't you like work on the side of good and like see like where that gets you, kind of thing, right? So like this was pre-planned, predetermined, but that Ultron being on the team isn't really like, he isn't supposed to be like a bad guy, but he's doing it for some sort of purpose. I forget the conversation exactly like why they're doing, but it's kind of interesting. And then there's another Ultron that they encounter in this issue, which is a bad Ultron who basically has started a cult. There's all these people that believe in this Ultron like he's a god, and they have like Ultron powers all of a sudden. Like they're all in suits of armor. They become like semi. It's like definitely like a commentary on AI and stuff, I feel like, but it's like they're all like sort of part robot, these people now. Like they're somewhat artificial, like human beings now. Like they're not all like flesh and blood. And they worship this Ultron who like has wings and is like a god. So it's kind of interesting. And like what happens is like one of them doesn't listen to him, and he ends up like, the Avengers have to like intervene with this guy in this issue. And as a result of one of his followers going against the belief system of this cult or whatever, this Ultron cult, he ends up like fucking him up. Like Ultron like beats the shit out of him, and Iron Man has to like stop him and be like, get this man to a hospital. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry about that. Like, you know what I mean? He's like, and then like he kind of like flew on. So there's like all these weird things going on like that. There's a lot of ideas in here, and it's just, they're not all coming together for me. I like the team, dislike the artist, and I like Duggan. So I don't know. It's a bit of a mess, honestly. There's some good things here though. I don't know. Like I feel like an arc in, maybe it'll find its footing. Iron Man was the same way. I feel like, I don't know if we like that right out the gate, and then like after a few issues, I remember, yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm definitely gonna drop it though. I like in terms of buying the issues for now. So oh yeah, and then he meets up with the Illuminati at the end of this issue, Tony Stark, which is kind of interesting as well. Like Doctor Strange and Blue Marvel and all those like other characters that are part. Emma's now part of the Illuminati. Like there's like the ones that meet in secret about big doings in the Marvel universe, and he asked for their help like with what's been going on right now with the Ultron stuff, and no one's like offering to help him. So he's like, okay, I guess I got to take matters into my own hands. And like, and the one character that's on the team, Chris, that like new character, I forget his name. He's like on work release from prison. Like they use him. That's what I mean. There's some interesting things I've never seen like in a story like this before, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know if everything's working, like coming together, but I don't know. Maybe give it an arc. Maybe check out this book again, guys. It might be good somewhere down the road. Better than this, anyways. You know what though? I'll give it a 3.5 still. There is enough in there that I liked it, but I can't give it any higher because like I said, there's a lot of negatives I have against it as well. So, and then finally, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin 2, Re-Evolution 4, the longest title ever. The other Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle books that came out this week. I got this cover here, this variant. This is good. I haven't really liked this miniseries in comparison to the last couple of Last Ronin installments. This has definitely been the weakest. That being said, I think this issue was probably the strongest. The story is finally really coming together with these new younger turtles. Now that all the older turtles are dead in this universe, the Last Ronin timeline, and yeah, the war against this other faction of people and April O'Neil's people in this post-apocalyptic setting. It really was coming together in this issue, and it was a very interesting one. This one, and also one of their friends like put himself into like a robot, like his brain or something, and he came to life in this issue, and that was teased. I feel like since the last miniseries, we thought he was dead, but he turns out he put his thoughts into the brain into this robot that came to life in this issue. So that was a cool surprise. So overall, I think the art's good and the story's enjoyable, and I'm looking to see where I think it's only got 1 or 2 issues to go. I'm looking to see how it ends. I'll give it a 3.75 out of 5 this week. I thought this was probably, like I said, the best issue of this mini series so far. So I'm looking, hopefully it ends on a good note. So, all right, what I got here, Chris, Nightclub 2, number 5.
I did like that. I like the issue, but I'm almost more interested in the bad guys now and what they're up to than these 3 kids.
Yeah.
I was kind of, like if he's going to kill them, I was hoping it'd be something a little bit more substantial. It kind of takes away from their deaths, which I thought was a bit of a swerve back when they did die. And just watching those bad vampires now, I forget what that kid's name, the leader. He goes sees his dad, and his dad is like, he kind of sneaks into jail to see his dad, and then his dad kind of gives him his props. I'm proud of you, son, and I think he still fucks him over. And
yeah,
just the stuff with the kids. Well, I guess it's good for the story. Gonna see how these 3 I guess the one guy with his girlfriend and the one that caused all this trouble looks like they made up, so I guess that's nice. But I feel that the interesting story now is more the following the bad vampires and seeing what they're up to. And if you were to kind of switch gears and follow them for a bit, I think that'd be more interesting.
Yeah, I agree with you in the sense that like this book, I feel like ever since that second issue where there was the huge swerve that happened in it, and I think you may have even, or maybe even I did, I can't remember. I remember it was like one of our favorites of the week that week. It was like a really good issue, and it really kind of gave a lot of hope to the rest of the miniseries, and just the way that it's panned out since that one issue. It hasn't really kind of recaptured that excitement I feel like we had at that time. So I think like it's just, it's just treading water at this point, unfortunately. But I think next issue, like always, Mark Miller is going to do like an oversized issue to kind of cap off the end of this installment of this series. I just feel like by the time if he were to do a next one of these, I wouldn't be as interested, I feel like, in this specific story, because I don't know. Unless something big has to really happen, I feel like in the end of this one for me to care still, because
it has to be a game changer sort of, or a universe sort of changing issue. Like, he better not kill the bad guys, and then the next whatever Nightclub 3, there's gonna those 3 are gonna find new new challenges. Well, I like these new vampires there.
Yeah, they're good bad guys, that's for sure. Yeah. What'd you give this?
I'll give it a 3.75 just for the bad guys.
Yeah, I agree with that. 3.75. Yeah. Then I got Hell Hunters number 2 this week.
Did you read this one here too, or no?
I did. Yeah.
I think they introduced Wolverine in here in a great way.
Yeah.
That's the way you introduce Wolverine. First of all, you don't know it's him. You think they're fighting demons or something because they're all like the Germans are running away, like they're surrendering. Oh, I don't know what's in there. It's a demon. You think they're gonna come out, and face whatever the Nazi zombies or whatever they are, and it's freaking Wolverine, and he's got a couple knives, and he's just freaking going to town. That's some Wolverine I haven't seen in a while. That was fun to see, and everything else going on there. It's a good war comic with not so much of a war focus.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Great Adam Gorham art. Fun characters showing up here. You got some like Eye of Agamotto kind of action kind of going on here. Or it feels like, like a Doctor Strange element here. So that was kind of cool. And yeah, it's been fun. And like you said, Wolverine showed up, which is always a plus in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it tracks. He is a character that was around during the war, as we know already from other comics where he's mentioned it, or other comics where they've showed him as a soldier. So it's not like this is like them inserting a character who wouldn't have been alive at that time, right? So in their continuity anyways. So yeah, it worked really well. And yeah. And yeah, this is a very bloody, very doesn't hold back type of comic for a war comic with Marvel characters in the Marvel universe. So it's fun. It's good stuff. Yeah, I think it's gonna be. Yeah, I think it's only like a 5 or 6 issue miniseries, so I'll continue reading it. I might even pick up the trade of this one actually, because I think Adam Gorham's doing a great job again on the art. So I'm a big fan of his. So I think yeah, it's awesome seeing him do these characters in this setting.
Yeah, no regret picking this up. I give this 3.75, no problem.
Yeah, same. Yeah. Then we got Psylocke number 3, and I got the Villa Lobos cover for this one.
Ooh, I want to see that one. That's not. Oh yeah, it's pretty good.
Pretty good one. I like that one. He's like one of those guys I'll kind of just order out right now at this point without seeing the image. Because a lot of these guys, when you go to do these pre-orders, they haven't drawn these things yet, right? So you got to kind of just go based off of their names sometimes on the pre-orders, right? So, but I wasn't disappointed by that. I liked it. As for the comic, what'd you think of the comic there, Chris?
I think I might have missed the second issue, so I kind of came into this one blind. It started out with a bang with John, whatever. Is it John Greycow or Grey Crow?
Grey Crow, yeah.
Yeah. With his arm taped up against the wall. So I like some nice gore in there. And they kind of bring it back to the Alaska base. So it's kind of still, keeping in track with what's going on in the X-Men at least. And I think this was better, at least than the first issue I read. It's not following those kids along anymore. She seems to be on her own sort of story now. And it looks like it's going somewhere. So I didn't mind this one.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. There's like a little mystery that's happening here in this issue, and she meets up with, it's almost like a love triangle between her, Grey Crow, and what's his name there, Shinobi. Yeah. No, yeah, because he's one of the what's his sons, right? It's one of the
Hellfire Club or whatever.
Yeah.
Sebastian Shaw.
Sebastian Shaw. Yeah. It's something Shaw, not Shinobi. Is that his first name?
Well, I know they call him Shinobi, but
yeah, it is Shinobi. Yeah, you're right. Sorry. Yeah, so it's Shinobi Shaw. So yeah, I thought it was, but for a second I was like, I thought I messed up the name. Yeah, so he shows up and he has a thing, or had a thing with Psylocke. So it's like those two kind of like, up against each other for a moment there. They kind of fight. And then they all talk it out, and they figure out that Shinobi mentions that there's some other mutant that really is like some weird, disturbing mutant from his past that he remembers. And because there's those butterflies on the wall, he's like, oh, that's a rare butterfly. It's associated with this dude. I think he's definitely involved. We have to get to the bottom of this. Like, so that's their clue, I guess, as to who's screwing around with her in her life here right now. And that's kind of where we leave off here at the end of this one. And I think the art could be better, but I do appreciate that the artist tried to like do some like interesting action layouts in this issue. Like there was a lot of like crazy sword fighting kind of scenes where she did, like, they did a double page spread, and so they're going for it. I just don't care for their art style as much as I would maybe another better artist. But that being said, they are putting their all into this. It's not like they're phoning it in. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
just I just don't care. I think for their style in particular. So it could be better, anyways. But that being said, yeah, not bad. Yeah, I agree with you. What would you give this?
Yeah, 3.5.
Same. Yeah. All right, and then finally we got X-Men number 10. I got this magic variant this week.
Oof, that's a nice one.
Yeah, which I think this is this J Young Lee? I'll double check. Yeah, I'm sorry, lyrics. This is lyrics, this one. Yeah. So what'd you think of this, Chris?
What I think, where the hell was this Cyclops in this Gray Malkin raid thing? Like, there he's freaking, they're walking around with his hands freaking tied behind his back. Here he's he's putting
Yes.
he's putting the pedal to the metal there when he has his little tete-a-tete with that government agent. He's got the Hellions back in business, and they're just freaking taking apart these government offices. Can't go wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
The art was great. I still don't think it suits, like, just this Cyclops doesn't look right sometimes for whatever reason. But other than that, like the other, like these ones there, just where he's sitting without his whatever, his hood on or anything, it just doesn't look right for some reason. But everybody else looks great. Can't complain about any of that. But unfortunately, the story doesn't track after the last story, where they seem so impotent, let's say, and he's like a terrorist.
I agree, but this was for me a much needed issue, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, I liked this issue. I liked how he pushed back against this guy in this issue, and like you said, they brought out that that team there to take down all the different compounds, and Phantom X was on the team, who I love. I love Phantom X. He hasn't been around lately, so him showing up on this team, I was really happy by that. He's literally just a guy who's got pistols, and like so they even ask him, like, how did you take a sentinel down with your guns? And he's just like, yeah, he's like skill or something. Like, I forgot what the hell he said. It was stupid, but I like him. I love his like look, Phantom X. I'm a big fan of that character. So like the fact that he showed up on that team, I was really happy about too. I like this issue, but yeah, you're right. You're not wrong. Like, where was this during that crossover? And then all of a sudden you read this issue and it's like two different characterizations of the same guy, right? From one issue to the next, right?
Yeah.
So it's but a bit of course correction. That being said, I like this one. I thought this was good. I still think this run's not that great, but overall, it's like every other issue I end up enjoying. Every issue or two.
Well, yeah, but now they're gonna move into this whatever the X-Man hunt or something.
Yeah.
I don't see how that's gonna go too well. I don't know. I think they just need to let this comic freaking live for a little bit and let the writer and the artist freaking do their thing for a bit.
Cyclops is even a dick at the end here. Remember, he said something to him. He's like, "Why do you think I got you on the team here?" Because
I got you to take out freaking the Phoenix.
Yeah, because he's like, "Well, you've because I forgot about that. So the Phoenix is contained inside of him right now, right? Like he's like,
Right now I thought he was part of that Phoenix 5 or something back in the day.
I thought sorry. So what they're saying here though is that he's the only thing keeping it at bay. I didn't understand that. Like essentially,
Yeah.
like okay, maybe I'm misunderstanding. But anyways, like Cyclops for whatever reason is able to like stop the Phoenix from happening right now. But he was saying to him there, what the fuck is his name? I forgot his name now.
What, that government agent? Yeah, you kill me, Phoenix is coming down here. John Gray or Jean Grey's going to come down here and just wipe out the earth.
Kid Omega, Quentin Quire. He's the guy who's on the team, the psychic, the Omega level psychic guy. He basically said, like, yeah, that's why I got you on the team, bud. He's like, you've been with the Phoenix as well before, so like, if I get taken out, it's your job. And he's like, what? Like, and he's just like so insulting. He's drinking beers, he's talking shit in this issue. Like, it was a pretty good Cyclops, I gotta say. It was good. He's pushing the government official guy back. It's good stuff. So, what'd you give this?
I'll give it a 3.75. I'd hope that this kind of follows the path in the next issues, but I don't have good hope.
I'll give this a 4 this week. I liked it. All right. That's going to do it for the books that we read this week. A bit of a smaller week here. Maybe even next week as well. I don't know. I was looking at things.
Yeah.
Got a few more, but nothing too crazy again. Slow start to February. So this is for February. Would it be for the 5th? I think this next
Yeah.
week. Okay, so Chris, what are you reading next week there, February 5th?
Definitely gonna be Ultimates number 9, Avengers 23. We got some Black Cat in there. Uh, and that might be it for Marvel. I might read this Power Man Timeless, but it was a one shot. I might have bought it, but freaking go through 5 issues, and I think they're gonna give you a baloney freaking goose chases about what's gonna happen. So not down for that. And let's see, Batman 157. I don't think I ordered Absolute Superman 4, but maybe I'll read that, see what's going on. Read Birds of Prey. Oh, Batman Offworld. I might have to go back and find out where we left off with them.
It ends
But
finally. It's ending this last issue.
well, who knows? Maybe they'll just put another issue in like 6 months again. And let's see, we got anything from Image. Sacrifices 14. That's about it there. I might read a few off here and there, and you never know. There could be some. Let's see. I don't know if Dark Horse or anybody else got anything going on, but we'll see. What about you? What do you got?
I got. I think it's a bit of a bigger week than this week, but not too crazy. Batman 157, Batman Offworld 6. Yeah, last one as you mentioned there. JSA 4, Namor 7, one more issue to go with that after. Sacrificers 14, which is always great. Ultimates 9, which again has always been pretty good. Yeah, that's it for physical. But that's it's only like 6 comics. Or again, I think it's a small week for me. Yeah, for stuff I'm picking up. But then like stuff I'm reading digitally, like you said, I might read Absolute Superman 4, but I'm pretty certain I've dropped it. And Birds of Prey I'll probably end up reading. I'm gonna see if there's anything else. I don't think so. I think that's about it. There's not too much. No, that's it for DC. Dark Horse, there's nothing. IDW, I don't think there's anything here. No. Image. Oh, Kea 25, which I don't see on my list. I would have also been picking that up, so that's weird. But I am ordering that. I'll probably get that. Marvel. Oh, Avengers. Yeah, I'll definitely read that. Yeah, that might be about it though. I don't know if there's anything else from Marvel I'm really gonna read like digitally. I think it might just be Avengers. Yeah, I think that's about it. So yeah, there you go. That's for next week. That's February 5th, 2025 there, guys. That's what we're looking forward to reading. And this week, Chris, what was your favorite book you read this week?
Bit of a surprise for me, even though I'm a little tired of some of the common tropes going on, but I got to go with freaking Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, undeniable this
Fantastic.
week. This is one of those weeks where there was nothing in competition for this spot here. And yeah, it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 6 for me as well, too. Yeah, there's some weeks where I'm kind of going back between 2 or 3 different options, but this is just like a clear winner of a week this week for me for this one. So yeah, interesting stuff. Yeah, it's a weird start so far, I feel like, to the year for comics, but as it amps up to the summer where there's a bigger releases, I'm sure should be interesting to see what happens. But I'm okay with having less books and better consistently good ones, though. Honestly, like I think we've weeded out a lot of stuff that we haven't really been digging. And, we might read on a whim digitally here on the show. But then, if I have books like this, like Ninja Turtles that are consistently good, Ultimate Spider-Man, and, a few others, like I'm pretty good. Like if we consistently have good books, at least like certain ones. And,
sure.
Yeah. So we'll see how
I'm
it all
on a
pans
slow
out.
week every once in a while.
Yeah, that's okay too. Especially when half the time you're not getting your comics anyways.
Well, I thought I'd get all these slow weeks, but then I hadn't picked them up for 2 or 3 weeks. So I get another freaking stock. I was like, what the heck?
Oh, here's
Freaking
50
blowing
comics.
70 bucks in there. Yeah, here you go, buddy. What? I was only getting like 2 comics this week. But I don't mind getting. I got a lot of nice covers. I've been liking those covers of the Amazing Spider-Man. I got that sweater weather. What's that? Wonder Woman. That definitely looks better in person or in comic than on a thumbnail.
Yeah.
So I still don't mind getting these books.
Yeah, no,
Still
absolutely.
waiting for my Magic though. I didn't get Magic 1.
Oh no.
No, I don't mind. But I better get this Magic 2, that Villa Lobos that's coming whenever it does.
That's a nice cover. Yeah, I pre-ordered that one. You better believe that. I was just looking around. I don't think I've gotten anything new in terms of covers. Oh, here. Before we go, I'll show you. Actually, I will show off one cover. 1 second. Hold on. Yeah, so this one, it's not our usual cheesecakey nice covers that we like to show off, but this is one that I picked up that it costs a little bit, like, not too much. But this is the first cover that Greg Capullo ever did back in the 80s for a horror anthology called Gore Shriek.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's pretty it's pretty hardcore. Just biting like I don't know if that is like an umbilical cord or it looks like it's coming out of like a baby doll's stomach or something. So yeah, it's gory, all right. So yeah, he's like a horror anthology. It's a black and white like book from like the
Yeah.
80s that I guess he got work on early in his career. And the first issue was his first interior art, and this was the first cover that he did for issue 4, like ever, like I guess.
Did you know that was like when were you looking for that comic or did you run into it?
So I was aware that he did do art on the first issue, but I didn't know that he also had some stuff in this issue. So I did just come across it and then I looked it up. So I know it wasn't on my radar. It kind of was, but I didn't know I didn't know this was the first cover he did. Like that
Yeah.
was the credit.
Yeah, that seems like a pretty big deal.
It's a key. Yeah, it's a key in that sense, right? For that reason, right? But it's funny because if you look at the art in the book, though, the cover kind of looks a bit like Greg Capullo, but the inside art, it's like he's like an indie artist, like or something at this period of time. Like it looks nothing like Greg Capullo's art. Like it's very strange. He does a short story in this, and it's not really that enjoyable of a story, like looking at his art, because you're like, you don't see him in it. You're like, well, it's strange, just like as a just to have it like and kind of be like, yeah, that's great. But it's not like the cover is much more, I feel like, in line with like what I think of Greg Capullo than like his Spawn stuff more so, if anything, I would say. But yeah, the inside did not look like his art, so it's very strange in that regard too. But anyways, yeah, cool to have. So I'm really happy about that one. So anyways, all right, so that's gonna do it for today, everybody. Make sure to like and subscribe and check out again our new solicitations video that we put out last week, which we'll continue to do every month, where we'll go over all the new solicits for books that we're looking forward to checking out. And yeah, we'll see you here next time. Thanks again to Chris, and we'll see you guys later.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.